Welcome back to Best Friends in Franchising. I'm Morgan Knoller.
And I'm Catherine Allen. And today we have Gabby Sacco on with us, the franchise director for the TOX. Welcome, Gabby. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you guys for having me here today. I'm so excited to dive into all things the talks, but I feel completely honored to be here. So thank you guys for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. And for those listeners out there who have never heard of the TOX, will you give us an overview of what it is and what makes it so special and unique?
Yes, so the Tox is a health and wellness concept. We specialize in body contouring. So we're focusing on detoxing your lymphatic and your digestion. So the concept behind the technique is to push lymph fluid that holds toxins in your body to your lymph nodes so it could recirculate back into your body efficiently so then you can detox and drain. So you get both physical and internal benefits. So from the physical side, the body contouring, and then the internal side, you're feeling less inflamed, less water retention, and then overall just an improvement in your digestion.
I love
It's
that.
amazing. That makes me want to go today.
I think
Yeah,
I need it.
me too. I'm way long overdue on one.
Little pre-V day, you know,
Exactly.
or in detox. Love it.
Now, new clients, what initially is drawing them in? Is it just seeing the aesthetic results, like the marketing of seeing like what they could get out of this? Is it like more on the wellness side? Is it both?
Yeah, so our social media presence is very, very strong. That's how it first originated is through social media. So how we're getting the clients through the door is when they're seeing these before and after pictures of influencers from a nationwide or a local perspective. They're booking appointments, they're coming in, and then our technician's job is to educate these clients and tell them why it's beneficial for them to keep coming back on that reoccurring basis. And then they see how they're feeling so much more different on the inside with less inflammation. And that's what's keeping them coming back on that reoccurring basis. So we do have a 63% client retention rate. And then all those technicians are formulating a treatment plan for the client. So we say we want you to come back for the first 4 to 6 weeks on a weekly or biweekly basis, and then monthly after to maintain those results. But I would say more often than not, clients are coming back biweekly.
And okay, that's good to understand. And let's just, a 63% retention rate is impressive. That's really, really impressive. And do you guys use bundle packages instead of memberships?
Yeah. Yep. We
Okay.
strictly do bundle packages and single sessions. So they can buy it in a pack of 3, 5, 10. We can tailor it directly for them. But just bundles and single sessions for the three services that we have.
Okay. And why did you choose that model again over a membership?
Cause it's more of like a luxury type service that we're doing. So when it comes to the membership side of things, you're kind of discounting the service, and we don't want it to be that feel because it is more sophisticated when they're coming in. So we don't want to like downgrade the brand and doing more so of that membership type model.
That makes perfect sense. And I feel like the more like with something like this too, because you keep seeing the results over and over, it's like one of those things where, I see all these different ads out there and it's fat freezing or all these other things, but then like you look at like the reviews and it just comes right back. And so you're like, oh no, that's not good. I don't want to spend that money and not have the results. So to have something like the talks that just focuses on these three things that they can do for you and you get the result almost instantly. Like it's a very fast result that would keep me coming back for sure. I just don't happen to have a talks up here. Yeah.
We're on our way.
So with this business model, let's talk a little bit about what does opening a talks location look like? How big are these spaces?
Yeah, so usually it's anywhere from 1,500 to 2,500 square feet. I would say our sweet spot's anywhere from 1,500 to 1,800. And that holds about 4 to 6 treatment rooms in there. So our team is heavily involved with the site selection. We do site selection and lease negotiation for the franchisee. Our goal is to help them find like a rectangle shape of that internal structure on the inside. So all we have to do is fit 4 to 6 treatment rooms, a lobby space, a break room, a place for retail. And then all we're doing is hanging black velvet curtains in between each of those treatment rooms. So Ideally, you can get up and running, I would say within 8 to 10 months because of that easy build out and not having to build treatment rooms around them.
And remind me what is the retail side? I forget that part.
The retail, we have about 80 to 90 different products. They did an analysis on all the products that we've had. We have about a total of 115, but maybe around 80 to 90 that are in the stores, and constantly rotating. So I would say they're lotions, serums, we have tox debloating teas, we have gummies, wash tools, we have bathrobes and t-shirts and sweatshirts. So all of that is on the retail side, and that makes up about 7% of our revenue that we have.
I do love my gua sha tool. Every time I stop using it, like I've stopped recently, so don't look, but and I have to go back because I see results with it.
Yeah, I
I do love
keep mine in my shower.
When we did our call to prepare for this podcast,
Yeah.
you brought up the gua sha tool, and I hadn't used mine in a year, and I started using it again. After you
Love
brought it,
it.
I was like,
Yes.
"You know."
Yeah, no, it helps so much. Like you just see reduction in like your puffiness of your face almost
Yeah,
immediately. So that's why I keep it in my shower because your face is kind of, I guess, moisturized or lubricated in there so it can kind of just flow in the way that it needs to
yeah.
versus getting all the oils and stuff on your face. But yeah, just a personal preference for
What
me.
I'm curious, what are the did you guys look at, like, the top, like, 3 products that sell? Do you know that off the
I
top of
would
your
say our debloating gummies.
Okay,
Bloating gummies, we have our lymphatic patches, and then the face mask is also really good, and our lymphatic teas too. So I would say, like, those are the 4 most highest selling products that we have.
so what does the investment range look like for the talks?
Yeah, anywhere from 258,000 to 448,000. That is for a single location. That's
Okay,
gonna include everything up until your grand opening and 3 months after. So, like, your training expenses, your initial inventory, extra furniture and equipment, the build out is gonna be, like, the biggest portion in that, and then, like, grand opening, advertising, operating expenses, insurance, payroll, all of that will be
okay,
included too.
okay.
And your build out time is pretty quick compared to other wellness concepts. Why is that?
It's because of the curtain structure in there, because you don't need a lot of construction inside of there. I would say the rectangle structure on the inside, all you're doing is painting the walls black, the ceiling black. We're looking for high exposed ceilings, polished concrete floors. So you just put the aesthetic touch to it, and then you find a ceiling structure to support the curtains that come down, and it really is just a very fast turnaround time. Our corporate studios, they've been able to open within like 30 to 45 days before, but that was because the founder and her husband were doing it like just fully themselves, hanging chandeliers, painting the walls. But from the franchise side, I would say the quickest we've seen is about 5 months, which is still very quick.
Well, there's a smoothie place right down the street, still hasn't opened, year and a half.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
What, and so what is the ideal location for a talks? Like, what are you is there an anchor? Like, talk to us about that.
Yeah, I would say when we try to position these locations, we want them to be around alike businesses in the health, wellness, and beauty industry. So, looking for like a solid core or a pure bar, an orange theory. So, anything near like a Whole Foods, a Trader Joe's, it doesn't have to be directly in that plaza, it could be around the corner from one. But I would say Class A real estate has been like the biggest commonality when we're looking at spaces, but it could be Class B if we find like a really good option for that.
And are you helping find these locations or would the franchisees be able to say, I think I have a great location?
It could be from both sides as long as the talks approves it. So we highly recommend working with our real estate team. But if they do come in and they have a realtor they're working with, they can work with them too, as long as it's a commercial realtor.
Sure. I'm really glad to hear that there's a couple franchises that I vetted and they were very specific on where the stores, the brick and mortar stores were going to be going. And I did not agree with their location. So I did walk away from that one.
Yeah, I think it's like the most emotional part of the process. And we really do lean on our franchisees too, because we're like, at the end of the day, you know your market the best. So we want to make sure that we're working with you, you're working with the real estate agent, and we can all three interactively come together to make the best decision for wherever that location ends up being.
So let's transition into staffing and operations. Who are you hiring as technicians?
So every state is very different. It just depends on the state's rules and regulations and what they need to be certified under for body contouring or personal miscellaneous services. But I would say primarily it is licensed estheticians that we're hiring, and they're coming right out of school. So they don't need any experience at all. It's actually a lot easier to mold them when they come to our training. And that training at the TOX technique or at our location in the TOX in Tribeca is about 7 to 9 days that we have.
Okay.
That actually makes a lot of sense because we have some employees that think that they are all-star soccer players with our franchise soccer stars. And if they've played for a long time or trained at a high level, there's sometimes not the best fit for our company. We really need like fresh kids right out of school or still in school that love soccer. Very easy to teach them how to do the classes, but we have found that with our employees too.
Yeah. Yeah, because they don't know anything else other than this technique. So if you find like a licensed massage therapist that has 20 years of experience, they try to implement their modalities into the technique, and it just doesn't work as well as just coming fresh out of school.
That
Makes
makes
sense.
sense. Jinx.
So how are the technicians compensated? What does that pay structure look like?
Yeah, so depending on the state, we start them off at minimum wage. But if let's say your minimum wage is $7, we would say anywhere from like $15 to $17 to start them off at. But the vast majority of their pay, it's coming from the tips. So they can make anywhere from $30 up to $150 depending on the treatment. And then they get 10% off of the retail that they sell.
Well, that's nice. That helps a
That is
lot.
good.
Yeah, we have some locations where they're making like 80 to $90,000 in the year. So that's why the job is so demanding and appealing for estheticians, especially just coming right out, because they could be doing lashes or brows and you're not making near as much as you would as a technician with the tops.
I mean, that's a good salary for a technician.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as a franchise owner, I'm just thinking from that lens, you're paying them the salary, but then the tips are the tips, right?
Yeah.
That
Yeah, the
just
tips go directly towards them. They would get an hourly wage, but yes, all the tips, credit cards or cash tips will go towards them.
okay. I like that. Transitioning to marketing and social media, which is my wheelhouse and always exciting for me. So, one of the most unique things about the talks is the corporate social media strategy, which you touched on. Talk to us a little bit more about what that looks like.
Yes. So every single franchisee is going to have a dedicated social media team that works for their specific location. So what their responsibility is we're posting video and photo content to their pages. We are booking appointments through the DMs as well. We're educating clients. Whoever follows our page, we're making sure that we reach out to them directly and tell them exactly what we do because there is some confusion around lymphatic drainage. So we want to make sure that we're educating them. And then the most important thing is finding influencers. So we find influencers from a nationwide and local perspective to come into the location and promote the brand. So they're posting video content to their pages, before and after pictures. And that's how we get that audience through the door to build on their client base.
And you
So,
guys are managing, right? You're managing this. This is not up to the franchisee.
yep,
Okay.
we take full authority of the
Amazing.
Instagram account. Yes.
That is so nice. I do
Yeah.
not like the marketing side at all.
It,
It is not my wheelhouse like Catherine. So I need all the corporate help I can get. So hearing something like that is extremely appealing for someone like me coming in that just wants to do the sales.
yeah.
Marketing.
Is there a cost for this, Gabby, from the
Yeah.
franchise perspective? Okay. What does
Yeah.
that look like?
Yeah, so it's 27.50 a month for the social media side. We also do have a couple different channels of advertising as well. So we have an agency of record. Their name is Doe Media, and they help with the digital paid ads. So that's going to be for Facebook, for Instagram paid ads, TikTok, Google My Business. And they would be working with a direct rep on their side to set that up. And then their responsibility as a franchisee, they're getting out into their community and building networks and brand partnerships to help expand their specific location.
I think that's great because that, that when you have a trusted digital marketing agency that can drive, customers, like that's like a plug and play. You don't need to think about it. And then the time spent can go out to that community and network marketing. I would say, for soccer stars, it'd be great if we had something like that because I spend a lot of time. I love marketing, it's my background. And so but it takes time. It takes a lot of time, and I'm someone who knows how to do it. It just takes time to create content and oh my goodness. So,
So
that's amazing that the Tops offers that. I would pay for it.
I always think back to like the business that I used to run, and I was like, okay, I have to dive into the social media side, but I didn't know where to start. I'm like, this is not in my wheelhouse. So thinking about it from this side, I'm like, that would be brilliant if I had somebody doing this for me and I didn't have to worry about it. So
And it's always changing and evolving.
yeah,
It's constant education, and it's going faster and
yeah,
faster.
exactly.
It just takes a lot of time
Yeah.
to do it well. Yeah. So that's awesome.
Speaking of high performers that do all this marketing stuff, what are you seeing with your top performing locations from ones that maybe are struggling a little bit more? What are the top performers doing really well?
I would say networking and building relationships. Like that's going to be the number one thing that we always go back to if they're not doing well. It would be either that or who is managing their specific location because it's all going to come down to the leadership side because if you don't have a good manager in place, then everything is going to fall apart. So we always make sure that you are hiring very slow and firing fast when necessary and also just getting out and building those relationships and partnerships and friendships with people all around your specific location.
Morgan loves that phrase.
I do.
Hire hire fast. So you talked about management, totally agree. My manager rocks. Without her, I would not be where I'm at. Can the talks be semi-absentee or is it more hands-on? Talk to us about what that
Yeah,
looks like.
it definitely can be semi-absentee. I mean, the numbers in the FDD, they're all ran by a general manager and the profit margins are 28.4%. So it is possible, but I would say the most successful franchisees are kind of back and forth between owner operator and semi-absentee. We at least want you to have like 90 days of involvement in the beginning stages and then kind of take a step back and then hiring and delegating more tasks to people. So then they can build and scale for that second, the third, the fourth location. Because the majority of our franchisees are multi-unit operators.
Okay.
And you mentioned like going out with community ties and getting involved in the community. What kind of things are people doing? I mean, like we do farmers markets, right? Like we table at different events for kids. That's kind of like we get out in the community that way. What does that look like for the talks?
That exact same thing, going to
Same.
farmer markets, or even just for example, like Solid Core, meeting at Solid Core, setting up a booth in the front, and then talking to their clients that are coming in and educating them about the talks as they're going in and out of those classes. So giving them like we have a swag bag with like sweatshirts and products that we can give to them so then they could be wearing that advertisement around and people could then be curious like what's the talks, let's go visit it, go on the website, let's go follow their page. So little things like that that can really help your business expand.
Do you guys ever do like special discounts? So let's say you go to Solid Core, you do the tabling event, they get the swag bag. Do you say to Solid Core, hey, we'll give a 10% discount or a free, or like, do you ever do anything like that with these
Some
partnerships?
franchisees do, yeah, it's just franchisee specific.
Yeah.
You don't wanna be comping all of these treatments. We do have, like, a specific guideline for that, but there are, like, promotions that we can say, like, if you bring in, let's say, for an example, 10 clients, then we'll give you a discount off of X amount of services, let's say.
That makes sense.
We get a lot of clients by doing like discounts or, come here and sign up for X amount for a free class or whatever. So that's so smart. And with the franchisees that like something like the talks, I always think if they're failing, it's probably the manager in place or just not trying. Is that like the top two reasons people would fail?
Yes. Yeah, it always goes back to those 2, I would say. Like, they're gonna have a franchise business coach that takes them through the every single month and making sure that they're hitting their specific benchmarks. So if it's not hitting in the place where we want it to be, we always circle back to that. Who's running your studio and what are you doing to get clients through the door? So those are like the two common denominators.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree. Follow the system. Just
Yes.
follow. It's as
Follow
simple
the
as
playbook.
follow the system, follow the plan, take your business coach's advice. It's that simple.
Yeah.
So let's talk about numbers. Can you talk to us about item 19, revenue and profitability?
Yeah. So we have 5 locations on our FDD. The average gross revenue is 1.1 million. And then the profit margins are 28.4% off of that. So net, you're taking home about 330,000 annually. And that's again all with a general manager in place. So if you were to go more so owner operator, semi absentee, those margins could potentially be higher too.
Right. And these are corporate locations right now, currently.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And then when will we start seeing like the franchisee data?
So we'll probably have maybe one on this next FDD for 2026, but I would say the majority are going to come out in 2027 because after Q1 last year, that's when they all started to open.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes sense.
And
Yeah.
how many do you have open now, Gabby?
We have about 47 that are open. Yep.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Good job. That's a lot.
Yeah.
In 1 year. In 1
Yeah.
year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in 1 year.
Yeah.
It's been so cool to see, like, their whole team really get these locations open. Like, we don't want any franchisee just to sit there and look for real estate. We're like, "You need to get open right away so you can start generating cash." And that's been our motto since we started. They're really outshining in the franchising industry when it comes to open studios.
You bring up a good point because, like, for brick and mortar, that's even more impressive
Yeah.
because just with the lease, that is, I mean, for context, when I used to work in home care, we were opening about 25 locations a year. And so that's pretty much double. That's awesome. Way
Yeah.
to go, team.
And a lot of the locations, again, they're multi-unit operators, so it's gonna take them some time to find the real estate for the second, the third, the fourth location. So I would say the franchisees that have 2 or more, they're gonna start looking for the second and the third this year. And a couple of them have already started opening their second.
And that's a true testament to the brand. I mean, and to the business model that, just for our listeners out there, when people are buying multiple units, that's a very good sign. A very, very good sign. And how many percentage wise are multi-unit versus one unit right now?
I would say about 85 to 90% of our owners are multi-unit operators.
Is incredible.
That's a lot.
And with the locations, what are like the new interest areas or where are like hot markets that you're looking to fill right now?
I would say we have some areas open in Jersey. So we have like Morristown, we have Caldwell that's open, Berkeley Heights, looking at areas in Oklahoma City, we have Baton Rouge, New Orleans. Those are like the main markets that there's a lot in California, but we're not registered there just yet. Omaha, Nebraska, trying to think, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Charleston, South Carolina. Those are like,
Love Charleston.
yeah, we're just waiting for like the perfect partner in that specific
I
area.
mean, that's an amazing market. I'm like,
Such a good market.
anyone in Charleston,
Yes.
get
Come
on
my way.
it.
I know I gotta reach out to all my friends in Charleston.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have your network there, Mark. So you mentioned, like, when we were doing our preparation calls, the Talks has a first to market advantage. Who is competition for the Talks? Who would you consider your competitors?
We don't have competition. We really don't. I mean, you'll find the one off med spa, the mobile technician that does something like this, but where they're doing it like 4 to 6 times a week, we're doing this 5 to 6 times a day per technician. So we're really like the masters, the pioneers of what we do in this industry. So we really don't have, there's no other franchise concept that does what the Tops does.
No, there's really not anything like it.
Nice.
So, when you have these franchise owners coming in, are they familiar with health and wellness? Who are the franchisees that you're seeing? Are they from corporate America? Are they from a little bit of everything?
There's a we have a lot of different backgrounds and personalities. So I would say the commonality is the passion behind health and wellness. But we get a lot of husband and wife duos that come in. So if people are looking at like health and wellness brands, like let's say, for example, Degree or Go Glow or stuff in that category, they're usually looking at the tops as well. And then I would say we have about 10 to 15 male owners currently, and then the rest would just be like sole female owners that we have. But they all have the passion behind health and wellness, like strong leadership skills, communication skills, like personality is huge of what we're looking for when it comes to franchisees.
And I think you mentioned 75 to 80% were husband wife, right? Kind of
Yes.
duos.
Yes.
That's pretty high. Do you see, I'm curious, in that, is there like, does the female typically do X and the husband typically do Y, or is it totally up to the husband and wife combo?
It just depends on their situation. Sometimes we have a husband and wife where the husband left his job and he's like operating everything, and then the wife will be full time, but then transition out, and then they just end up running it together. Or usually what we see is the wife is operating it, and then the husband's behind the scenes, like working everything from the financial side, build out construction, being that type of hands on support for them.
Yeah, I work very closely with my husband on our franchise, and it's been nice, but when
Yeah.
where it started and where we are right now, we were definitely more 50-50 in the beginning and not so much now. Now it's mostly me, and I'm glad to have him though for help when I need it. But yeah, I think women just tend to take over too.
Yeah. Especially in
You
this, like
rule the
you
world. Haven't you heard the song? Who rules the
Yeah.
world? Girls.
See.
I just think we can't
For
help it.
real.
Yeah. It's been so good to see on our end, there's been no divorces on our end. So that's a great sign, right?
It's so funny you bring that up, Gabby, because in my old company, we had a lot of husband and wife duos as well, and I did see some divorces. Granted, I was there 13 years. You're new. You just started, but no. I mean, let's not go there. But yeah. Woohoo.
No, I mean, I feel like there's probably
Divorce my husband. I think we would have issues if we were like, he's my silent partner.
yeah,
I gotta run the show around here.
there's a lot of wives like firing their husbands, I'm sure on a day to day, maybe not divorcing, but they're even Courtney and Ryan, they'll be like, well, Ryan will say, I got fired about 10 times last week. She's like, well, better play by the rules here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more like how I do it. I'm like, you can help with, and I'm like, nope, just kidding. I'm
Just
taking
to
it over.
moat. Just to moat them, just to moat. It's like,
Yeah,
go clean the equipment, please.
yeah, exactly. Go
I
find
also
yourself useful.
I also feel like you have like endorphins going, right? Like you're part of the talks. If you own the talks, you're probably doing the services yourself if you feel good, right? And
Yeah,
you're feeling confident, you're going to be a happy franchisee. So that's
yeah,
kind of a nice bonus with anything in that wellness space.
exactly.
So any final thoughts with someone considering buying at the talks and getting into this industry?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if anybody does have a passion behind health and wellness and they're looking for a really simple and scalable model, I would love to speak with them. And I know that you guys do a great job at what you do too. So, for anybody that's looking to change their lives and change people's lives from the inside out, I think the talks would be a very, very good fit for them.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Gabby.
Yes.
Thank you so
Thank
much for
you guys
joining
for having
us. This has been so fun. I love the talks. I need to go check out the one in Alamo because that is literally a 10-minute drive from my house.
Yes. You too.
So I gotta check it out and do some behind the scenes footage. But
Yes.
for anyone interested in the talks, everyone, thank you for listening. Go to thefranchiseinsiders.com. You can find Morgan's information, my information. Happy to get you connected to Gabby, especially you Charleston folks. No.
Yeah.
All the markets you mentioned, and I know there's a lot more than that available. So thanks for tuning in.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.